Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Prelude to Positivity, my new project. My guest today is someone who I think fits the positive aspect of life and embraces it usually. It is Chad Michael Collins. He is an actor, a producer, a Twitcher. Do we call you Twitcher or Twitch star? I don't even know what they call that, but Twitcher.
It's a great question. I know Twitch Dreamer is used a lot, but I could be Twitcher.
Okay, and he's Alex in Call of Duty, and he's also very well known for his Brandon Beckett in the Sniper series. He's also into Dungeons and Dragons a lot, and he's basically a bright soul on social media every day for people. Hi, Chad. How are you?
Hey, Tommy, such a pleasure. Happy to be part of your new endeavor here.
Thank you. Well, I couldn't do it without like certain people on the list, so you are definitely on top of the list.
I appreciate that.
And as usual, I just wanted to let you describe to people who you are, what you do, in case someone happens upon us that doesn't really know who you are yet.
Got it. Well, you kind of nailed it with that intro, but yeah, just to expand, I'm an actor. Recent projects, or what I'm best known for, is being a lead in the latest Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I play Alex Echo 3-1, and I also play the lead character in Sony's military action franchise. It's called Sniper. I play Brandon Beckett, the lead there. I've done 5 of those now in the last 10 years. So,
Wow.
but yeah, so I dink and dunk, and I work on TV, video games, movies, a bunch of different projects when I'm lucky to get a yes.
And we like it when you get the yeses, because I like coming across you on shows that I'm watching, and it's like, oh, look, oh, that's Chad.
Trust me, I love the yeses more than anyone.
I want to talk about Call of Duty a little bit, because I see it as this phenomenon that just took off, where people they receive so much pleasure from it, from playing the game. I noticed that online, and I think they receive a lot of pleasure from interacting with you too. But were you always a gamer, a video gamer?
Oh yeah. My grandmother had an Atari, so it got started way back then when I was barely old enough to hold a joystick. I begged my parents Santa for a Nintendo Entertainment System in the mid to late 80s for many Christmases in a row, until I finally broke them down and got one. So I've been gaming ever since, the crowning dawn of video games, really. So and I've gone nonstop. And so to be a part of Call of Duty and to star in a major video game like Call of Duty it's been awesome. It's been an bucket list item as an actor, and it's introduced me to a whole new world of fans, and being able to stream on Twitch and connect with them in brand new ways. It's been a blast all around.
Cool. And how does it feel to see people be so passionate about the game, and how does it feel to play with them?
Yeah, so it's funny, man. Call of Duty is so huge, and the numbers for our games were staggering. I mean, tens of millions of players worldwide. Just best-selling game of 2019 and 2020. To see people running around the battlefield as my character Alex has been super fun. And of course, I play as Alex too. I gotta. Although I fear I do get him killed more often than not, just because I'm not that great at those first-person shooter games. But I strive to be mediocre. Just so I can hang a little bit. But it's been a lot of fun, man. And the difference between TV and film is, people, audiences, fans can get attached to characters in TV and film, right? But in video games, they get really attached to these characters because you're controlling them. You are literally in their digital shoes, and you are moving and doing these missions, and kind of the world is unfolding around you through your eyes, and you're in control of all that. So there's a really special bond that fans and gamers have with video game characters, and it's been really cool to see them really respond to Alex and take him for the ride as well. So it's been a joy to interact with a whole new group of fans, for sure.
I feel like it's the next level action figure type of thing, because when we used to play with action figures as kids, we would become the character from the movie when we were using it, but now they're actually seeing through the character's eyes, which is a whole another level thing. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, in Call of Duty, the whole game unfolds like this beautifully rendered, amazing graphics. It's an interactive movie. I mean, really, there's so many cinematic cutscenes and this and that and whatever, but the way the game is just so laid out, it is like you are in the trenches. You know, you are in Zero Dark 30, you are in Lone Survivor. You know,
Yeah.
it's really, really impressive and really amazing and very intense, Tommy. I got to be honest.
Yeah,
There's
I
not
see that.
there's not a time when I boot up Call of Duty, whether I'm on stream or just playing with friends, where I don't get massive adrenaline dumps because of just the shock and awe of the nature of this game. But it's been a lot of fun, especially when I could just take a couple breaths after I put the mouse and keyboard down and calm myself a little.
Yeah, really. And as I said, I think the most touching thing for me to watch, being a friend of yours and seeing people interact with you, is just how much they get affected by it. Like if you like one of their posts about Call of Duty, it really touches them to a level that I don't think a lot of people really get if they don't play video games or they don't play the game itself. When you were actually doing the game, when you were voicing it and you started working on it, did you expect it to be what it is?
You know, we kind of came into this project blind. We had an idea that it was a Call of Duty game. We didn't know it was going to be a reboot of their most successful trilogy of Call of Duty games, the Modern Warfare trilogy that came out, you know, about a decade ago. And so we were really excited, you know, to see how everybody received it. But they received it so well, and you know, you're totally on point. You know, when you play Call of Duty, when you play the single player campaign mode, you know, my character has kind of a dubious ending. You know, he goes off and makes a heroic sacrifice. You see a big factory exploding and he's inside. You never see him again. And so it was really touching to see the fans reach out and talk about how they cried when that happened. You know, the last time they heard my voice, the last goodbye scene. It was really, really special and very, very touching. And when he got revealed again in March into the multiplayer ongoing component of Call of Duty, people were losing their minds, you know, because Alex, they really got attached to him. And it was really special to see how relieved and happy and joyous they were that Alex was indeed alive. You know, he lost the leg below the knee. So they were representing veterans who are amputees as well, which I thought was a very cool thing of them to do. But it is very special. And there's definitely a great bond between these gamers and the characters that they get to run around as, and it's super fun to interact with them and to feel their appreciation and give it back to them.
Yeah, and now they have the merch, so that I have my Alex mug and I have my Alex Angels T-shirt, and we have those things that we can pick up, and we can be part of the army. Also, being that you're on social media every day, and I really do feel like you're a bright spot in a lot of people's day on social media. But also I wanted to know, is there anything, because I always see you up and I always see you upbeat and I always see you like positive, but is there anything that really ticks you off? Do you have pet peeves about things in life? Or are there days where you're just like, you know, this really just sucks today? Do you have those moments?
You know, not often. You know, I've kind of trained my brain to flip the script as often as possible, you know, to look for the silver lining in things, just to keep it positive. And you know, I think there's an opportunity in everything. And you know, there's a famous quote. I think it was attributed to the UFC fighter Conor McGregor, and he said something about you know, I never lose. I either win or I learn. And so even the things that disappoint you or you fail at or whatever, I look at them as an opportunity to learn, to grow, you know, to get better, to do better. And it takes a lot to shift your mindset, but I've had a lot of years of practice to do it. So, you know, I try to keep everything positive. And, you know, there's enough negativity in the world and people in these days with social media, you know, they don't understand that they have a billboard and they're representing themselves. And many people, you know, they don't think first. They just, you know, they type, they post, and then they think maybe thing comes in later. I don't know, but I do like to be a bit more conscious and more positive. I just think that that's a good thing to always put out there in the world, and it seems to be well received.
I agree. So it's kind of like conditioning your body. It's the same thing as working out. It's the same thing as reading to learn stuff. You just have to condition the positive parts.
Indeed, you do. Yeah. It's we all kind of grow up being told no and getting that negative end of the stick on just about everything through life, starting as a baby all the way up through. So, you know, you do have to retrain your brain. You've got to reorient your mindset to look for things to appreciate and to stay positive and a bit of the optimist, not to the point of being naive, but
No.
it certainly helps to, cultivate a feelings of gratitude. And I find that that's always served me really well.
Yeah, I think that's. I was reading today that Tina Turner has a new book, and she's explaining how she found happiness. She's had a, if you don't know her life, look it up because it's she had a rough life. But she was saying that in order to train herself positively, for every negative thought she'd have, she would repeat a positive thing to kind of drown it out.
And that's what it takes, and that's and it just you end up being happy, and it's a small price to pay for happiness, right?
Yeah, I mean the end result is that.
Yeah.
So I know that you're into your fitness, and we all know that. We know that you're into your reading and you're like studying certain subjects. But do you have guilty pleasures when it comes to life? Like, is there something that you like a food that you like to enjoy that's a guilty pleasure, or a TV show or a film that you would consider?
Oh man, guilty pleasures. I don't know. I live a life mostly of no remorse, Tommy. So I don't even feel guilty about the things that I like. So
That's good.
I don't. I keep the diet pretty clean. I probably drink too much coffee, if that can be a vice of some sort. I don't.
Could be.
Not many others come to mind. I'm pretty go with the flow, man. Not much rocks my boat. So I don't know that I have any pet peeves or really guilty pleasures that I would actually be scared to talk about. I feel like they're all pretty tame
Proud of everything.
compared to what you could have. I suppose mine are pretty mellow.
Do you have a cheat meal though? Is there a cheat meal that you go to where you just say, "Well, I'm going to do this today," and that's it?
Yeah, I've been a paleo diet guy. That classic hunter-gatherer diet that's been around for a long time and is now wildly popular. But there's so many great alternative things out there. Every once in a while, I'll make myself kind of like those kind of paleo treats. Just kind of get into that paleo version of a cake or box of cookies and stuff like that. So for sure, I'm not 100% clean, but when I do decide to have some goodies, it's always some kind of like Simple Mills paleo type of variety with almond flour and stuff, and no milk, no butter, none of that fun stuff. So
that's cool. I've been doing protein shake. When I want something sweet, I do a protein shake, but I put a lot of ice in it to make it like ice cream, and I trick myself to think I'm sitting eating something.
There you go.
Sweet, but it's not. If we could touch on, you have a new film coming out called Stay. Should be out next year, right? Although with the pandemic, we hope early next year, but it might be a little bit later. We don't know yet. But I just wanted to touch on that a little bit, if you can talk about it a little, and also ask you, you do seem to have this attraction to the veterans, and there's something that draws you to that. So why is that? Is it something, did you know someone in your life, or is it just something that you feel is necessary?
Yeah, so Stay is in early development. We're kind of putting it out there for the first time. Obviously, there's a script. I read this script and fell in love with it and attached myself as the male lead character. But it deals with PTSD. It's a love story, taking you from a man and a woman that meet, and basically following their story as he goes back on one, two, third tour of duty, and how he comes back more of a shell of himself, how he gets broken down, mentally, physically, emotionally, and how that affects their relationship. I thought it was a really powerful story. The lead actress, Belle Friesen, wrote this script as well, and just an amazing script. And as you know, from Call of Duty, sniper movies, and everything else that I do tend to play a lot of soldiers. And I grew up with a lot of family members who served. I was one signature away from almost enlisting myself back in the day. So I have a great amount of respect for servicemen and women, veterans, current active duty, etc. So I and it's not lost on me that I play them, and for a living. So I always want to do them justice. I always want to honor them in the best way that I can, not just in my preparation, but giving back, supporting them, their causes. It's something that's very important to me, and I think PTSD is a very serious issue that has kind of come to light in recent years. This movie explores it profoundly and in a very uncomfortable way at times. So, telling those kind of stories and that silver lining and the shred of hope at the end of them is something that is very important to me. And it's a different side of the soldier character that I get to play and to tap into. So it's an opportunity for me as an actor. But it's also a chance to kind of do some good and shed some light on some stuff there. So hopefully, 2021 is the year that we'll get this shot and out there for people to enjoy.
I hope so, because it looks like a good film. From what I've seen, the stills that I've seen of it, it looks, I can kind of piece together, but it already looks emotional to me. I already feel the emotion of it.
Yeah, like I said, it's nice because it's a love story at its core, and it's about the compromise, the sacrifice, the things that both sides endure, and so it's really shines a light on how hard it is, not only to just have a significant other gone for so long, but every time they come back, there's a big piece of them missing. And yeah, so we're excited. We've shot some initial teaser stuff, promo stuff. We've taken great photos, but now we're looking to round it out with the creative team and get it out there for everybody to enjoy.
And then there's another project they're working on, which is more of a sci-fi
Mhm.
thriller type thing. Can you talk about that at all, or just tease us a
Yeah,
little?
I was, and you mentioned earlier what an up and down year it's been, and it's never been more true for actors,
Oh my God.
So I was lucky to be invited to join the cast of a film. Chelsea Edmondson was a dear friend of mine. She was my co-star in a movie called High Moon.
Which is a
She,
great movie.
yeah, she's a lead in this one. It's a sci-fi thriller. I think they're going through a name change now, and they got some fun actors that I work with that I think they're waiting to make an announcement soon. But yeah, it's basically about an alien invasion and scientists that are tasked with developing a weapon to possibly protect humanity should things go south. So I can't say much more about it. Hopefully, that movie will be released in 2021 as well. And it was fun. I got to play a scientist, and I had my long hair and I got my glasses, so it's
Oh
definitely
wow.
a different look and feel for me as an actor. So it was a lot of fun to do with a
Nice.
great group of people.
Nice. It sounds like we could have used whatever they're developing in the movie this year.
Yeah, I mean,
2021 could have used
yeah, I
that.
don't think it's any coincidence that they wrote this kind of movie.
Now, I'm calling this particular chapter of my project Prelude to Positivity because I felt like all this year that this is kind of a prelude to something that's coming, and not necessarily anything negative that is going to come out of it. I feel like we're going to go into this moment of realizing how we learn things from this year, and using that stuff to that. But can you talk about maybe in your past times where you felt that something was so negative, or something happening to you was so negative, but then you realized it actually was something that was preparing you for something positive that was coming up?
Yeah, I in my mid 20s, I was a bit of a hard charger, and I worked hard, I played hard, everything from sports to fun weekends out, and just grinding away in an office and trying to elevate my career. And around my mid 20s, it all kind of caught up with me, and I just, I always felt off. I felt tired. I felt exhausted. A lot of things were going on. Injuries were mounting up in my back and my neck, going all the way back to high school football. It just got to be, when you're in a constant state of discomfort and pain, eventually it's enough to push you over the edge to do something about it. I didn't find much relief from, Western medicine and traditional doctors. So I took a deep dive, man, and I learned about alternative medicine. I learned about holistic healing. That put me in touch with the spiritual side of things, with the mental side of things, the emotional side of things, how it's all tied together, the mind, body, spirit, and that's kind of the key to ultimate health and happiness. So it made me aware of just being more conscious, law of attraction, things and tools that I could use to serve my spiritual health, mental health, emotional health, on top of alternative things like going paleo and finding certain therapies to heal, the injuries physically that I had. So that was kind of a really challenging time in my life, but it set me down a path that it continues to this day to serve me very, very well. And it's so easy when you have a physical injury, just focus on the physical.
Yeah.
Most people leave out the mental component, the emotional component, and that's, you get all those things firing together, and there's nothing you can't overcome. So that set me off on the right path that like I said, still serves me to this day.
That sounds like the perfect example of what I'm talking about. And then speaking of that, we're still kind of in pandemic mode, and I don't know what's going to end up with this, but is there anything that happened or that you learned during this time, mentally and also activity wise, that you want to take with you even when we go back to somewhat normal? Something you said, I'm going to continue that going forward.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what an up and down year, man. And we've seen the worst of things. We've seen the best of things. It's just crazy. And I think it becomes pretty, you have a year like this, it's crisis. Everybody's in crisis mode. They're trying to survive, whether it's financially, literally, physically, the political arena, all sorts of stuff. You saw the best of people, you saw the worst of
Oh
people,
yeah.
and true colors came out, and it was an opportunity for everyone to really take a look at themselves, myself included, and to really um, double down on, if you're going to be positive, if you're going to expect good things to happen to you, well, there's a lot of negative things staring you in the face right now. So it's kind of put up or shut up, or, there's a chance to kind of get rid of old, non-serving biases and beliefs and stuff like that. Really check in with yourself. And, I took full advantage. It was an incredible time for learning. It was an incredible time for going within. I feel like I've kind of come out on in an even bigger, better way. I feel like I've learned and grown a lot, just being aware of, the intricacies of Black Lives Matter and all sorts of amazing things that were brought to the forefront, that were always kind of murmured about in the background, but were really in our face, and we had to deal with it. The COVID-19, health, really, people had to take a good hard look at their health, and if you're at risk here and here, what are the lifestyle choices that you're making that keep you unhealthy to make you more susceptible to something that we've never seen before. So it was a really, really interesting time. And, I feel like I picked up a lot of new and interesting things. I taught myself how to be a Twitch streamer and connect with people in a whole different way. So it was really, I took full advantage. I read more books than I ever have in a calendar year, which was fantastic. So played more D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, than I ever have before in my entire life combined. So it was cool. It was a year that was a bit of a rascal for everyone, but I learned how to tame it a little bit and to let it serve me well.
That sounds really good. And somebody, right before we did this interview, someone sent me this thing, and I really love it. So I was going to use it for this. What title would you give this chapter of your life if you had to give it a title?
Oh boy, that's a good one, man. I feel like this year and maybe the year or two before leading up to it, I was kind of inching into a threshold. And, there was a phase of my life where, you're just getting really clear on who you want to be and, who you are, defining yourself, understanding things about yourself, improving the things that, you don't like, and really leaning hard into the things that you do like. And I feel like I'm stepping into maybe more of a manifestation phase of that. I want to start seeing the tangible results of these things. I've got a lot of irons in the fire about this, that, and whatever. I've got a TV show in development that's very close to seeing the light of day. So this 2020 was really about pushing forward and, setting up the dream. And I think that from here forward, it is about living the dream a little bit more and little in bigger, better ways than perhaps I had dared to dream previously. So I don't know, hashtag living the dream, that's been used before, but I guess we can steal it for the sake of your question.
If that's the chapter that you want to do it, you can do it. There's chapters in books, I'm sure, that have been named the same thing as other chapters in other books. Right. I mean, come on, how many names of chapters can we come up with?
That's true.
Also, what are you passionate about? What things are you most passionate about?
What am I passionate about? I love, a few things that you touched on. I love staying fit. I love staying capable. I love pushing this meat suit around, seeing what it's capable of. Even at my ripe old age, I still go at it like I'm 18. So
you are. If you think you are, you are. We are what we believe we are.
But that's always been a part of my life, and it serves my career well. I want to play the soldier. I want to play the superhero. So it always. And I want to be able to get on the basketball court and do the thing. I want to be able to put on the boxing glove and be competitive and push myself in that way. So that's always a thing that I'm passionate about. And it's just a staple in my life. Paleo diet, all sorts of other healthy lifestyle things that come into play. As I'm a big fan of essential oils and stuff like that. I love the stuff from Young Living. I've been using them for years.
Me too now.
That goes hand in hand with all that other stuff. But as you also know very well, I have very much a nerdy side, so I'm very passionate about games like Dungeons and Dragons, and now Twitch streaming and gaming in this way has been really, really fun. I'm a big comic book nerd. So I'm always reading comic books and fantasy novels. These are the things that really float my boat. So, I think we chatted before about the hashtag that describes me, and I came up with Jerd, which
Oh
is
yeah, that was a good one.
combination of a jock and a nerd. And that's just that's kind of me to a T, man.
Cool. And also, what is the most fulfilling part about what you do?
As an actor, you mean specifically?
Yeah, about acting, and also I guess we add social media into that too, because it's so much part of being a public person now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, honestly, I got into this racket, for the chance to have fun. I grew up loving, everything from G.I. Joe and comic books and action figures to video games, Star Trek: The Next Generation and X-Files and all sorts of stuff. So I only ever got into acting, to have fun in that way and to be a part of those really great stories that were so influential on me. So I think that the more I have fun with it, the more fun it is to interact with people who also enjoy that stuff, who watch the sniper movies, who play Call of Duty. It's really rewarding to me, to be able to meet these fans at conventions. There was none of those this year. To be able to interact them. Yeah, I know, right? And to interact with them on social media. I'm still blown away and flattered that people go out and play this game and watch these movies, and then they take time out of their day to let me know, and that they did enjoy it, and that that they did watch it and they did share it with friends and family and whatever. So that's just really special to me. I love that two-way interactivity between people who support you by watching or playing or sharing your stuff. And it's just nice to be able to take time out of your day and say, hey, thanks. You didn't have to do that, but you did. And it's no sweat off my back to return the favor.
I also love the story about how you actually became an actor, because I feel like a lot of us don't pay attention to everything in our lives. So you were doing something completely different, and this kind of drew you to it, I guess, right? And then you ended up in it. But a lot of people would have stuck with the original plan, right? And just stayed, I'm going to do this because this is going to make me money, and this is what my plan was. But I just love that story. So you originally were doing PR work?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then how did the acting bug just came about? Because you were seeing so many people doing it, or you were around so much of it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, man. I was a journalism major in college. I never acted a day in my life. I played football, basketball, baseball, tried to get good grades, first kid to go to college. Journalism major, I always liked writing and everything that kind of came with that. So that would seem to be a natural fit for me. I ended up in Los Angeles doing an internship, with a publicist, and that we were representing actors in TV and film. So that kind of introduced me to Hollywood, the entertainment industry at large. And you meet enough people, and someone just put a bug in my ear one day to like, hey, you ever take an acting class? Like, are you an actor? I kept hearing that a lot. So I was like, well, I'll give it a shot. I was watching Band of Brothers and Saving Private Ryan, and I love Braveheart and Gladiator. And I was like, shoot, man, that'd be really fun to do something like that. Just play a pretend G.I. Joe on the screen, So that was my motivation for stepping into an acting class. And I just found that I really enjoyed it, and I just took my time with it. And I just took classes when I could. I auditioned when I was brave enough. Things started lining up and coming together, and I was booking on jobs and being on set and actually learning what this was all about, while also still working in the business and understanding and appreciating the business side of things. So that's kind of the unique way that I came up through the industry until, a number of years ago, I said, you know what, I think I've put enough time in the office. I think I'm going to go dive head first and full time into the acting stuff. I'm just having too much fun.
The office is not a place people can stay for very long. Usually it's like, it serves its purpose, and then it's like, yeah, I'm done with that. What would you say to people though? What would you say to people out there who are on the verge of something, and they kind of want to try something, but they're afraid, or there's that little voice in their head saying, it's not necessarily the safe route to go? What would you tell them that you learned?
Yeah, it's a great question, man. And I've always been going back to what I shared with you previously, just about going down the self-improvement route and just trying to grow and develop and be a better human being. Big fan of the stuff by, there's so many great ones. Tony Robbins, is mega popular, and his stuff's been serving people well for years and years and years. But Tony always had this thing that he wrote about, talked about, he'd do podcasts about, and that was, come up with 50 good feeling reasons why. And I think whether you're excited or you're scared or you're somewhere in between, if you think you want something, Tony Robbins challenges you to come up with 50 reasons why you think you want it. And the catch is they got to be good feeling reasons. It can't be, well, I want $1 million because my neighbor has one and look at his fancy car.
Yeah.
That's not a good feeling reason. That's jealousy. Like that's envy.
Yeah, that's the wrong
Why can't
motivation.
I have that? Yeah, that's lack. And so he challenges you to come up with good feeling reasons why, from a positive place, why you want something. And he said, if you can't come up with 50, you don't really want it. So I would, yeah, I know, right? It seems harsh. Once you get, I've done this a lot in my life. Once you get rolling, it's fun to come up with 50 reasons, and it's
Okay.
really cool. And so that's always a kind of a fun technique that served me well. And I always tell people if they're a little scared of their dreams or putting their foot forward is to just get clear on why you want it. If you get clear on why you want it, especially as an actor, that stuff will see you through in the face of all the no's, in the face of not knowing what to do next. That sort of stuff keeps the excitement there. It takes the sting out of rejection more
Hmm.
often than not. And it's just a really important tool that I think people can use to serve them well.
Now I noticed you haven't played a whole lot of villains, but do you find that the hero is more fun to play, or the villain is more fun to play?
I got to be honest, I've played a lot more villains in the last few years than the first number of years combined. So it's been fun, man. It's kind of fun to step into the villain's shoes, and they're they've got their own ideas, right? They're always
Yeah,
unique, interesting characters, and understanding what those motivations are and everything else. And every villain's justified. They think they're doing the right thing for
of
reason
course.
X, Y, or Z. So it's kind of fun to get in touch with your dark side a little bit. And I've had a chance to play some really pretty nasty characters. So I'm 50-50, man. I'll do the hero stuff all day long, but if you want me to, play the dark side of the hero, the anti-hero, whatever you want to call it, I'm always game.
Can a hero be a villain also?
Can they be what? Sorry.
Can a hero also be a villain?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Right?
it's
Can
you
we?
know me. Like the Punisher is one of my all-time favorite comic book characters. Half the people think he's a crazed, vigilante nut job villain, and other people think he's a hero doing the dirty work. So Batman, same way. So I think
Oh
the
yeah. Oh yeah.
anti-hero is the sweet spot, right? You got a little bit of true hero, and you got a little bit of villain in you to get the job done.
Well, we all also know that a romantic lead can also be a villain, right? Because sometimes he's just a scad, and but she still
True.
loves him.
Very true.
How about right now? Is there anything in particular that you absolutely cannot live without?
Boy, oh boy. Cannot live without. That's a good question. Man, books have served me so well. I've been ripping through books, man. I love a good book in my hand. But I don't know. I had to upgrade my PC, my computer, because my old computer could not handle streaming and Call of Duty and everything at the same time. So
Oh yeah.
I'm in love with this thing. It's amazing. It's super
Isn't
high
it
end.
amazing? When you get something that's fast, you're just like, how did I
Yeah.
live before?
Oh my gosh, I'm so spoiled. The old one was pretty solid, but it felt like dial-up compared to this one. So, with all the streaming I've been doing and all the D&D games I've been playing, which have all obviously moved online and not in person this year, my computer's become a pretty handy sidekick, for me all year. So it would be hard to kind of give this thing up now. I've gotten quite attached.
Cool. And in the beginning of the pandemic, we had spoken, and I asked you if there was anything you wish that we could all live without. And is there anything that you've learned during this time that we've been that you do wish that we could all live without?
Yeah, and maybe this was what we talked about before, but with everything that happened, like I mentioned before, uh, the protests, Black Lives Matter, equality movement, COVID, the pandemic itself, politics, all sorts of crazy things we've endured this year. I wish that people could live without being right, and instead try to live their life geared more towards being happy. And I think that a lot of the strife you see on social media, a lot of the strife between people, it's because they've drawn a line in the sand for better or worse, and they
Hmm.
want to be right. And when you only want to be right, you don't listen, and you don't have an open mind, you don't have an open heart, certainly. So if people gave up the fight to be right, I mean, it's never seemed to me, to be any more rewarding to be right and miserable.
Mhm.
It just never occurs to me. I'd rather just be happy and happier. So I think that, if people could just take a chill pill, take a step back and give up the need to be right and instead reached for, wanting to be happy, I think that would serve them maybe a little bit better.
I think so. Speaking of making people happy, uh, the sniper films, are we going to see more? And
I've heard rumors that we'll see some more. Obviously, I think everybody's been trying to figure it out in this pandemic.
yeah,
If we'll do more, when we'll do more, where will we do more, how will we do more. I know that the one we released this past summer in July, Sniper Assassin's End, it was really well received. It really felt like it reinvigorated the franchise with in a whole new way. New characters, new actors, new director, new people at Sony taking over the helm. So I think it got people re-excited, if that's a word, for them all over again. So
yeah.
I think they intend to make more, and I hope that is the case because I love doing them.
It felt like it. It totally felt like it was a new direction. And you're definitely down for it, right? You totally want to be back doing those stunts and kicking ass and all that stuff that you do in those. So that's good to know.
Always, man. I'm always, 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 always ready to go back and put on Brandon Beckett's shoes. I always make the joke that I think we've done 8 of them, and I've been a part of 5. And when we get to like Sniper 23, I'm totally fine to pass the rifle on to the next protege. That's fine, but let's get there first. I still
Well,
got some
Sylvester
growing up
Stallone
to
did
do.
it. Didn't
What's
Sylvester
that?
Stallone do it with Sylvester Stallone did that with Rocky, where
Exactly.
he's
Yeah,
in them still. He's still in them. He's just like a different
right,
role at this point. So that's
right,
fine.
exactly. So, but hopefully we
What's your
get that
favorite thing
wrong.
about those? What is your favorite thing about the sniper movies?
The favorite thing about the sniper movies is, the film family is awesome, and it's highly underrated, especially when you've got a lower budget and you've got maybe 3 weeks to shoot an entire movie. That is a super challenging ordeal as it is. And then if you're off in some remote country or location or whatever, everybody really bonds, and I love that baptism by fire, everybody pulling together for the right reasons experience of making a film. I think one of the best parts about being in the sniper movies is that it's given me the opportunity to travel all over the world. And I've been to Bulgaria, Santorini. My gosh, I've been into Turkey a couple of times as a result, South Africa. We shot the last one up in Vancouver, Canada. So it's just given me an amazing opportunity to travel the world, see the world, meet different people, different walks of life. It's made me more well-rounded, more open-minded, and those experiences have always served me so well. On top of the acting experiences themselves. So always grateful to be able to do a sniper movie in some fantastic new location.
And we were talking about social media and being online. So where is the best place to find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on the big 3 for sure. Instagram and Twitter at Collins Chad M, and I've got a Facebook page which is just Chad Michael Collins. And yeah, if everybody wants to come and check out the fun we have on Twitch when I stream Call of Duty, that's just twitch.tv/Chad Michael Collins as well.
And they can also find out how to get the merch if they want to be one of Alex's angels.
Oh yeah, and my website, which is just my name, chadmichaelcollins.com. It's got all sorts of fun stuff out there for all the Call of Duty fans for sure.
And what's coming up next for you besides the first thing coming up is going to be which project?
We don't know, and I think that the one we already shot, I mean, that will probably be released sometime in 2021, unless something looks a lot different on that front. But I can't say very much about it, but a television show I've been trying to put together for the last 2 years. It looks like it might be crossing some finish lines soon, and that could be some fun, interesting news for 2021. Hopefully, we'll do another sniper movie. Hopefully, we'll get all that stuff going again too, and keep that train rolling. And it's I've been playing a lot in the voiceover world. I got
Nice.
my first audiobook coming out that I narrated. So that's already, there's a pre-order link for that. It's called The Power of the Dog, which is going to be actually it's going to be a Netflix movie adapted from this novel starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Kirsten Dunst, and a few others. So Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun to kind of dabble in different arenas, but you know, we're always waiting to see what the next thing is that pops. Such is the life of an actor.
It sounds like a good life though so far, right?
I'm making it work. I'm making it work, you know, despite all the odds. Like Han Solo says, never tell me the odds.
Nice. A nice reference. That's a good reference. Is there anything you want to leave everybody with today?
No, I think we had a real nice chat. Obviously, hit the subscribe button for my good friend Tommy here, who's been wonderfully supportive of me in my career. And it's always a pleasure to kind of turn around and support you as well and all your good stuff. You're a good egg, and if anyone's you know positive like me, it's definitely you. And I know a lot of people out there appreciate that, me in particular.
Thank you. Thank you for being my second guest on the new project. And hopefully you'll come back when you have these projects coming out. We'll do one for each.
Hey man, you got my number, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And we'll talk again for sure.
Okay, Tommy. Thank you.
Thank you.